Welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing Tesla's customer service. There's a ton of talk about whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, and are they actually good at giving customer service? Let me start this video by saying everything I'm about to say is my opinion. And the importance to that is everybody has their own version. Everybody has their own opinion. And in truth, where you live may actually impact a great deal with regards to the kind of service you get. This kind of makes sense. And yes, before you ask, I'm in the backseat of my car. I cannot say that Tesla's customer service is perfect. That's, that would be a very, very big lie, I think. There is no such thing as perfection, though. And it's very difficult to make people understand that Tesla's customer service is actually better than most. This is coming from somebody who's owned multiple cars, new cars, used cars, so forth and so on. But I've had the pleasure of driving different cars. I've had the pleasure of dealing with different companies. And with each one came very, very big differences in terms of customer service. This company is very, very young, and it has gone through a great deal of changes over the past 15 years. And in case you don't know, July 1st, 2003 is that's when Tesla really came into existence. It's a very, very young company, but in that time, they have gone from nothing to something. You have to remember that these cars and this company is built from the ground up. They didn't really have much in terms of the basis to go off of. The customer service, I feel like, was great, especially in the beginning and especially before the Model 3 showed up. The Model 3 kind of hindered it a little bit, and I think the production, to ramp up the production and the pressure of saying, let's get this car out, let's do the things that we got to do, kind of put a little bit of strain on Tesla as a company. So now, with that said, it kind of makes sense that customer service would also take a hit, especially through the service centers. The service centers, I don't believe there are enough, but at the same time, I think it depends on you and it depends on me. Now, if I'm going to go in there for every tiny little thing, naturally, I'm taking up a great deal of resources. Should I be going in there for all those little things? Well, sure. If I'm going to pay the money that Tesla requests, then I should go in there. But am I going to get the best service possible? It depends, I guess, on who you ask. You see, I have gotten the greatest service that I can possibly ask for. Anytime I had a little bit of an issue, I went in, they either fixed it on the spot or they scheduled me in, took my car in, fixed the problem. And it's not perfect. Nothing is ever perfect. And these cars are not perfect. You have to understand, a 15-year-old company that built everything from the ground up can only do so much in such a short amount of time. Essentially, Tesla is just a teenager. They're still learning. They're still trying to develop things. And they're moving at a very, very fast pace, at a very fast rate. They are changing the entire industry pretty much single-handedly. So yes, there's going to be a great deal of strain on it. Now, there's a lot of YouTubers that talked about Tesla's customer service, and I feel like I agree with some of them and I disagree with some of them. And some of these people are also my friends, so we can argue quite a bit back and forth. But maybe I'm the lucky one. Maybe I happen to get the car that has the least amount of problems. Maybe I just always happen to walk in at the right time. Now, in all fairness, in a year, I've walked in maybe about 6 times. And out of those 6 times, only twice where it was somewhat of a legitimate issue. Now, I have understanding of cars. The problem is, Teslas are not your typical cars. The fact that they are quiet as they are causes a very interesting reaction. And this included myself, up to a certain point anyway, where I would be hearing noises that I'm just simply not used to. So what do? I talk to customer service, and I hope that they can tell me something. Am I being unrealistic? No, I want to know. I simply want to know, why is the car doing what it is doing? I take up their resources for us, nothing more than just a question, just a curiosity, I guess. So the question is, if I'm doing this, how many other people are doing this? I'd be willing to bet that there's a ton of people that do this. Now, in my lifetime, I've owned everything from the smallest little cars, to some great cars. So, when you're looking at companies in general, how have they treated me? And I'm going to do a comparison on this. When For me, I was a big Ford fan because I liked Ford. They didn't really treat me badly. Now, Ford, on the other hand, had very similar issues and much, much worse than what a Tesla has had, especially in the first year. Now, to put that into perspective, the reason I'm bringing up this is because a lot of people talk about those, the panels not lining up perfectly, or it's not, everything is not streamlined. There's a little bit bigger gaps here and there. You know what? Ford has that too. And Ford was basically established in June 16th, 1903, which is 115 years old. I actually have it right here. I'm looking at it. And yet they had, after all this time, they still didn't perfect it. And you're probably thinking, hey, wait, that's Ford. Well, how about somebody like Volkswagen? Volkswagen is 81 years old. It was established on May 28th, 1937. And let me tell you guys something. Volkswagen hasn't done all that great of a job either. And I'm picking out these companies because these are companies that people really liked at one point or still like. And let's not forget that the Ford F-150 is the #1 selling truck in North America. So there's a reason for that. However, Volkswagen had its Dieselgate problems, and Volkswagen paneling wasn't always lined up. In fact, the build quality, I would say, is somewhat okay. I still wouldn't call it great. That's still not the big company. Let's talk about somebody like Mercedes. June 28, 1926, 92 years old. Mercedes is one of those companies that you either love or you absolutely hate. But I have yet to see a Mercedes that actually does anything they promise. I am not a big actually, it's probably one of my least favorite companies. And the key reason for this is because they'll pack in a lot of quality things, but put together pretty poorly. In fact, a Mercedes, when it comes to maintenance, is pretty expensive, as in ridiculously expensive. Again, this is a company that's been around a great deal of, 102 years. So if they couldn't perfect it, and they couldn't perfect customer service, there are lots of horror stories with customer service for Mercedes. There really are. And it doesn't take much than just a simple Google search and you will find out there is tons. You're comparing a 102-year-old company and a company like Mercedes to a 15-year-old ground-up company such as Tesla. That doesn't work. Now, on my personal experience, and something that I've personally owned and I've had a lot of experiences with, which is BMW. BMW was established in March 7th, 1916, 102 years old. When I bought my BMW, I was very happy with it. And till this day, I still loved that car. Even when I got rid of it to get my Tesla, I was very happy with my car. I was not impressed at all with customer service. I was not impressed with the build quality. That thing, I had sounds coming out of that car that I just could not fix. And frankly, it wasn't a big deal. I'm pretty sure that the average person would never really notice it, but I did. It took forever for me to try and get somebody to listen to me that there's a problem. The only time that I actually got great service out of BMW, and mind you, this was still under warranty, was I had a problem with the steering wheel. My steering wheel on my BMW, the entire coating came off after about 6 months. So it was peeling the actual steering wheel. This is not a young company. This is not a baby company. This is not a company that just started up. And that vehicle was $80,000+, and yet I still had that happen. But you don't hear about that. This is not something that everybody talks about. What everybody talks about is that, the joints on a Tesla don't align properly. When it comes to customer service, even me, when I bought this Tesla, there were two little joints that weren't aligned perfectly. I took it into Tesla. They fixed it on the spot on the same day within 15 minutes of me arriving. I heard some people say they had a bad experience with regards to the delivery of the vehicle. And I understand this. And almost all of these came out of the Model 3s, even the Model X's. But I can understand this. It's not really all that bad. I myself had a few little issues when I took delivery of this car, but everything was fixed. The problem here is that our expectations are based on price. If you're going to pay $100,000 for a car, you expect $100,000 quality. you can't really look at it that way. Honestly, when it's all said and done, Tesla has done a pretty darn good job. Are they perfect? By no means are they perfect, but no one else is. Tesla, I think, is only gonna get better. Let's not forget that for a lot of problems, that can be fixed over software updates. For sounds, for things like this, those take time. You know, with my car, I had a little bit of sound coming from the front end of the car. I could not figure it out. The only way we could figure that out is literally by driving the car there, leaving it with them, letting them drive the car so they can pick up on a sound and see what it was. It was a strut. They fixed it. It was under warranty. They simply replaced it. There's not a peep coming through this car. Are there going to be future problems? Sure there are. Listen, this car is put together through clips, but so is every other car. If you look at majority of the cars, they use those little clips that basically hold everything together. With time and depending on the roads that you're driving on, those will loosen up or break. You know, again, that's not the end of the world. But I am curious to see where this is going to go. I understand Tesla customer service isn't great. I know that. And again, depending on where you live, it can be a lot worse. And I know that people don't have the best experience right off the bat. But please remember that this is still a young company trying to learn, trying to find itself, trying to find its identity, and trying to work to get things done. This is not a company that's standing still. It's continuously in motion. And when a company is continuously in motion, things are going to get left behind. Are they going to fix it? I have no doubt about it. Could they improve the customer service? Absolutely they could. Could they improve the cars? Yes, they could. Could they improve the entire company? Yes, they could. But this stands for every single company that's out there. It's not just Tesla. But because Tesla is what it is, and it's so big in the mainstream media, naturally, we all kind of focusing on Tesla right now. Tesla at this point could literally do everything perfect but one thing, and it will still get scrutinized. What Tesla has done in 15 years is absolutely mind-blowing. That's what I have to say about it. That's my opinion on this. I know not everybody will agree with me, and I'm expecting the comments to, you know, get some haters in the comments. I am expecting quite a few thumbs downs in these comments, but on this video. But at the same time, it is something that I hope you guys look into. I hope that you, when you're watching this video, you understand that this is a very young company. Don't forget that. And don't forget what they have done in 15 years from the ground up. This is not like every other company where you look at right now, a lot of companies coming out with electric cars, with the exception of a very few, majority are taking the current platform that they already have and they kind of work it off of that. Tesla in 15 years has built an actual infrastructure around their vehicles. In 15 years, this has cost a great deal of money and mistakes have been made. But the company is on its way to do great things. Thank you very, very much for watching. Look forward to the next video. And again, if you disagree with me, that's completely fine. I love criticism. I love hearing what you have to say about everything. And you don't have to agree with me. This is all my opinion. This is the way I look at things. And I have to say, I'm actually very, very happy with the way the company is working, with the way the company is going and the direction it has decided to go into. For those of you guys who have left me a comment, thank you very, very much. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. I'm okay either way. At least it gives me an idea what I'm doing right or wrong. And if you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. There will definitely push that notification bell because I will have a lot more videos coming out. If you have any questions, again, leave it in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And with that said, please drive safe, stay off your cell phones while driving. Goodbye.